Welcome to this short class. I would like to talk about alignment today, and we can consider that alignment has two stages. We can lay down the train tracks, set up the structure, and we can then run force across the train tracks. And that running force is what Donna Farhi calls engaged alignment. And it is the thing that, in my experience, gives a seamless, sensuous, three-dimensional glide to movement and reduces effort. So there's an ease to all movement. So if you'd like to join me, we'll try a few alignment experiments today. I've taken the feet wide. And what would it be like to find a yield push, to find a movement that travels right to left across the body? And the push would go from the foot to the ankle, to the knee, to the hip, across the bridge of the pelvis, and down the other side. Push goes foot, ankle, knee, hip, across the bridge of the pelvis, and down the other side. And if I just bend the knees like so, I don't know if you can see, but there is not a lot of sequential flow in this. I'm not using the push to move the pathway of weight, to move the internal alignment across the bones from side to side. So have a play with that. See how that feels in your body. Kind of fun. And then turn the toes in a little bit, both sets of toes. Bring the hands onto the pelvic halves. And we're going to pivot on the right heel and pivot back. And as you pivot, can you get a sense that the whole body is orienting over that front leg? And then bend in your back knee, so just as we did before, and send the movement forward into the front leg. So a prep, if you like, for warrior two. Bend in the back knee, collect the force, send the relaying back leg to front leg. Back leg to front leg. Back leg to front. And when you get over the front leg the next time, give a little push back and see if you can find the echo of that push into your back heel. Then when you're ready, opening the arms from there at whatever angle your body is positioned. Find a couple of breaths where you radiate in your breath, inhaling space, exhaling earth. And you might notice that my arms are positioned on a kind of three-dimensional arc here. If I was to bring the arms into a more traditional shape, it requires some rotation of my thoracic. So try that on for size a few times yourself. Where does the body naturally orient, and it's a little bit different for all of us, over the front leg? How do the arms move directly out of that shape? And what might we need to do if we wish to take a more regular Viratu form? And then push up. Both sets of toes turn in again. Finding a sense of midline, grounded. Hands onto the pelvic halves. Pivoting now on the left side. And again noticing, how does my belly button turn? How does my pelvis turn? How does everything orient over that front leg, so with the knee pointing more or less towards the ceiling? And then going back leg to front leg. So it's a conversation between back and front. It's a conversation. And like any conversation, you don't want one partner to be too heavy-handed and to take over. So finding that conversation and then pushing back a little bit from the front leg, back into the back heel. Now, if you like, you can bring this thigh parallel to the floor. And my encouragement is to only drop the front leg as much as you can still feel the back heel. Reaching the arms, and the angle might be slightly different on this side. Inhaling space, exhaling earth. Clarifying your internal alignment breath by breath. And placing the spine in a position where the breath can move it, if that was to be our fundamental goal in asana. How might this shape look? And then rotating, if you wish, if you need to, towards a more traditional shape, if that's interesting to you. What's interesting to me is to really notice where I have to move from to allow that and what feels more comfortable, more breathful. And then push up. Step the feet back together again, towards one another. Bend and extend both knees a couple of times so you get a clarity again up through the midline. And then dropping the head all the way down into a spinal roll. And this time as you push, find a clear push, feet to head. So we just pushed side to side. Now we're finding an alignment that travels bottom to top. And see along the way if there are any zigs or zags in your journey from feet to head. It'll tell you a lot about the strength of your legs, holdings or adhesions in the joints or the tissues. Can there be a clear, even Steven push, no zigs or zags, all the way up into your relaxed, easy yet strong Tadasana. When you're there, embracing space to bring the palms together. Thank you for class. I hope you enjoyed this play on alignment, and I hope you play with it. See you next time.